Welcome to the Easy English Hub podcast, your place for easy English conversation and real daily life English.
Hey, English learners. We're really happy you're here with us today.
I'm Evelyn.
And I'm Ken.
Just so you know, this is a B1 level episode. If you're intermediate, you're in a great place. And if you're a strong beginner, don't worry. Take what you understand and let the rest flow like background music.
Exactly. You don't need to understand every word to improve your English. Just relax and stay with us.
So, Ken, how are you feeling this holiday season? Relaxing at home or running around with shopping bags?
Honestly, a mix. My feet are tired, but my stomach is happy. Too many cookies.
That sounds nice, but what about stress?
Somewhere in the middle. I love the lights and music, but the money part, that's tricky.
Yeah, the music says joy, but your bank account says, we need to talk.
The scariest sentence in any language.
That's exactly what we're talking about today. Money, gifts, and holidays in simple English.
Evelyn, when you hear the sentence, I'm on a budget this year, how does it feel?
Honestly, a little tight, like my wallet is on a diet.
That's a perfect image. Everything around you is shiny. Sales, decorations, dinners. But inside, you're thinking, I need to be careful.
That's what tight on money feels like. Not zero money, but not much extra.
And then you open social media and it looks like everyone is spending like crazy.
That's when people think, I have to keep up. That sentence carries a lot of pressure.
Let's explain a few useful phrases.
A budget is just a plan for how you use your money.
When you say, I'm on a budget, it means you're following that plan.
And broke means you have no extra money at all.
That's why people save up. They keep money little by little for something important.
To save up, we often need to cut back, meaning we reduce spending.
Now let's talk about gifts. Do they really need to be expensive?
Not at all. One of the best gifts I ever received was very small, but full of meaning.
That's a meaningful gift. Thoughtful, personal, and from the heart.
Exactly. Something handmade, a letter, a playlist, or time together.
That's why we say it's the thought that counts.
Let's talk about real-life situations. What if friends invite you somewhere expensive?
Here's a simple and polite sentence. I'd love to, but I can't afford it right now. Maybe next time.
Or, that's a bit out of my budget this month.
You can also suggest something cheaper. Can we do something simpler?
And when eating out, you can say, let's split the bill, or let's go Dutch.
Sometimes people feel guilty about small gifts.
If that's you, remember this sentence. I gave what I could.
And this powerful phrase, live within your means.
It means spending what you can afford, not what others expect.
Let's be honest, many of us are last-minute shoppers.
Last minute means very late, just before the deadline.
But remember, better late than never.
Let's quickly review today's keywords. On a budget, tight on money, broke, save up, cut back, meaningful gift, thoughtful, split the bill, live within your means, affordable.
Choose one or two and try to use them this week.
Before we say goodbye today, Ken, I think there's one more important part of this conversation we should talk about.
I agree. We've talked about budgets, gifts, and plans, but we haven't really talked about how money connects to feelings and relationships.
Yes, because money is not just numbers, it's emotional. It touches pride, fear, love, and sometimes even shame.
Exactly. And many people feel uncomfortable talking about money, especially with family or close friends.
Let's start with family. Holidays often mean family time, and family conversations about money can be complicated.
Very complicated. Sometimes parents or relatives say things like, when I was your age, I already had a house, or why don't you earn more?
And those comments can make people feel small or not good enough, even if they're trying their best.
That's true. And for English learners living abroad, there's often extra pressure. Rent, visas, sending money home.
Yes, some listeners may be supporting family members while also trying to survive themselves.
That's a heavy responsibility, and it's okay to admit that it's hard.
This is where boundaries become very important.
Boundaries are like invisible lines that protect your energy, your time, and your money.
Setting boundaries doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about your health and future, too.
Let's give some simple English examples people can actually use.
Here's one. I wish I could help more, but this is what I can afford right now.
That sentence is honest and respectful. It doesn't attack anyone.
Another useful one is, I need to be careful with my money at the moment.
Or, I'm focusing on my basic expenses right now.
Basic expenses are things like rent, food, transport, and bills.
Sometimes people feel guilty for saying no, especially to family.
But saying no to protect yourself is not selfish, it's responsible.
Yes, if you don't protect your money, stress grows, and stress affects your sleep, your mood, and even your English learning.
That's such a good point. Stress makes it harder to focus and remember new words.
Let's talk about another situation, friends with different incomes.
Oh yes, this happens a lot.
Some friends earn more, some earn less, but everyone wants to belong.
And sometimes the person with more money chooses the plans, expensive cafes, trips, concerts.
If you're the one with less money, you might feel embarrassed to speak up.
You might think, I don't want to ruin the mood.
But silence can slowly turn into resentment.
That's why gentle honesty is better than quiet stress.
Here's a very friendly sentence. That sounds fun, but it's a bit expensive for me. Could we do something else?
You're not saying no to the people, you're saying no to the price.
And real friends will understand.
If they don't, that tells you something important too.
Another helpful strategy is to suggest alternatives.
Yes, for example, how about a movie night at home? What about a walk and coffee instead?
You're still participating, just in a way that fits your life.
Now, let's talk about something people don't say out loud very often, comparison.
Comparison is when we look at others and measure ourselves against them.
Social media makes this much worse.
You see perfect holidays, expensive gifts, beautiful homes.
But you don't see credit card debt, anxiety, or late-night worries.
Exactly. Social media shows highlights, not real life.
A helpful sentence you can say to yourself is, I'm doing the best I can with what I have.
That sentence is simple, but very powerful.
Another one is, my journey is different, and that's okay.
Different doesn't mean worse, it just means different.
Let's connect this back to English learning for a moment.
Yes, because learning English is also a long journey.
Some people can pay for courses, tutors, and trips abroad. Others learn slowly with free podcasts like this after long work days.
Both paths are valid. Progress doesn't depend only on money, it depends on consistency and kindness to yourself.
Listening, repeating, and practicing a little every day matters more than expensive materials.
And that's why we love podcasts. You can learn while walking, cooking, or resting.
Before we move to the closing, let's give listeners a short reflection exercise.
Nothing stressful, just something gentle.
Take a moment and think about this question. Where can I reduce money pressure in my life right now?
Maybe it's fewer gifts.
Maybe it's simpler plans.
Maybe it's saying no once, kindly and clearly.
And then ask yourself another question. What really matters to me during the holidays?
Connection, rest, peace, time.
Those things are often free.
And they're often what we remember most.
So if you're listening today and feeling heavy about money, we want you to hear this.
You are not failing.
You are not behind.
You are learning, growing, and doing your best.
And that is enough.
Evelyn, I'd like to talk about something very practical. Small daily money habits.
I love that idea because big money changes often feel scary, but small habits feel possible.
Exactly. When people hear words like budget or saving, they sometimes imagine strict rules or stress.
But in real life, money habits can be gentle.
Let's start with something simple. Awareness.
Yes, awareness just means noticing.
Not judging, not blaming yourself, just noticing how money moves in your life.
For example, noticing how often you buy coffee outside.
Or how many small online purchases happen without thinking.
These things don't make you bad with money.
They just show patterns.
And once you see a pattern, you can choose.
That's where confidence begins. Choice.
A useful sentence here is, I'm becoming more aware of my spending.
That's beautiful English and a healthy mindset.
Another helpful habit is setting tiny goals,
Yes, not big goals like I'll save a lot of money
but small ones like, this week I'll cook at home 2 days.
or this month I won't buy clothes.
Small goals build trust with yourself.
And when you keep a small promise, you feel capable.
That feeling matters more than the money itself.
Let's talk about confidence for a moment.
Confidence with money doesn't mean having a lot of it.
It means feeling calm and in control, even with a little.
Someone living within their means is often more confident than someone spending too much.
That's very true.
Here's a powerful sentence learners can use. I'm trying to be more intentional with my money.
Intentional means you think before you act.
Not perfect, just thoughtful.
Another daily habit is checking your money regularly.
Yes, not obsessively, just regularly.
Looking at your balance once or twice a week,
This reduces anxiety.
because uncertainty often creates more stress than reality.
When you know your situation, you can make calm decisions.
And calm decisions lead to better choices.
Let's connect this to English again.
Good idea.
Talking about money clearly is a life skill and a language skill.
Yes, many learners avoid money conversations because they feel awkward.
But using simple, honest English is enough.
For example, I need to think about my budget.
Or, I can't spend much this month.
Clear, polite, confident.
You don't need long explanations.
And you don't owe anyone discomfort.
Another important habit is celebrating small wins.
Oh, this one is big.
Did you avoid one unnecessary purchase? That's a win.
Did you say no politely to an expensive plan? That's a win.
Did you save even a small amount? That's a win.
Progress is not loud,
It's quiet and steady.
and it deserves recognition.
You can even say this to yourself. I'm making better choices than before.
That sentence builds confidence.
Let's talk briefly about mistakes.
Ah, yes, because everyone makes them.
Overspending once doesn't mean failure.
Buying something you regret doesn't erase your effort.
Mistakes are part of learning, with money and with English.
The key is kindness,
Being harsh with yourself usually leads to giving up.
but being kind helps you continue.
Here's a gentle sentence for mistakes. I'll do better next time.
Simple, forward-looking.
Before we move to the outro, let's leave listeners with one small practice.
Just one, very easy.
Today or tomorrow, notice one money decision you make.
It can be big or small.
Pause and name it in English.
For example, I chose not to buy this.
Or, this is affordable for me.
That small moment connects language, awareness, and confidence.
And that's exactly what we want here at Easy English Hub. Maybe this year your gifts are smaller and your plans are simpler.
But your peace can be bigger, and that's okay.
You're allowed to be on a budget.
You're allowed to choose small but meaningful.
Thank you for listening to the Easy English Hub podcast.
Take care of your money, your energy, and your heart.
See you in the next episode. Bye.